All right, folks. We got some interesting stuff to talk about this week, but to start it off, we're going to be leading off with a comic book by our boy Zach. That's right, Hatman and I both have Jawbreakers. We'll be talking about this, plus the narrative is failing across entertainment, from Jussie Smollett, the comic skate, and so on and so forth, and the left just can't take it. So let's get started, shall we? My name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
Welcome to Micah and The Hatman, live. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. It says Micah's pick in front of you, but this is a team pick this week.
Yep.
We have spoken with, on this show, the colorist for this book, Brett Smith. Brett was an awesome guest to have on here. Of course, you guys know that I'm very friendly with our boy Zach, who he and I have been cool for a couple of years now. And we just talked actually not too long ago over email about some stuff, and he's actually been giving me a lot of advice when it comes to getting our own, getting our book, Project Lazarus, and also Englewood out to the printers and getting it all created and stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of time to review this book. We're not gonna roast it. We're not gonna fuck with our boy, but we're definitely gonna talk about it a bit to kind of and give an honest review on it. Mm-hmm. Obviously we have our biases. We're a supporter of Richards, and I love John Malin's artwork. The cover of this book, I'll just switch something around here real quick so you guys can see it a little bit better. The cover that we have is the one that, oddly enough, Ethan Van Sciver was drawing when he first appeared on this podcast with us. So this is the final version of the book. Ethan's detail, of course, is ridiculous. You can see every hair on the gorilla's face.
Wait, let me find the black and white version of it too.
Yeah, this is the one that he was doing at the time before he turned it over to his colorist.
Yep.
So that was actually pretty cool. We get to be a little piece of comic book history in a sense. But of course, artwork by John Malin, lettering done by Eric Weathers. It really is a sort of a comic skate, I guess you could say. All-stars list, if you think about it. And then, of course, there is a remastering of the first two books that Richard did, with first book, art and lettering by Simon Bennett, book 2 done by Kelsey Shannon. Kelsey is known as both as an artist and a colorist, very talented at both, and does a lot of work for Antarctic Press. So, where to start is the question.
Let's start with the look of it. It looks really, really good. Like, even the remastered quote unquote issues, issue 1 looks like straight out of fucking G.I. Joe. Mm-hmm. And then the second looks like it came out of fucking Silver Age of comics right there.
Oh yeah.
It's classic feels. And of course, the main event is clearly, a more modern take.
Yes.
On comics.
Yeah, the older books are very, very G.I. Joe feeling. Mm-hmm. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, it is pretty much up your alley, to mm-hmm. say the least. Very military, so on and so forth, and that really is just kind of the long and short of it. Is if you dig G.I. Joe, you're going to dig it. The Lost Souls, the book with the giant gorilla, is very Expendables feeling. Mm-hmm. And that was just kind of the big vibe I got from it. Like, I almost expected, and I don't think this is a negative necessarily, for that theme from Expendables played by Shinedown in the first movie to be playing while I'm reading it. It just has that vibe to it. The team of characters are fun, mm-hmm. but not what I would call super deep.
No. About the only one that you really get any sort of depth with is Silkworm,
mm-hmm.
the leader of the team. And, that seems okay, because it almost feels like the story focuses on him anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, but you've still got, throwaway references to, the other members. Cuffs gets a little bit more page time than anyone else, but that's mostly because of the kind of admittedly weak and, dare I say, forced romantic subplot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not. It's supposed to seem like a love at first sight sort of thing, but it's more like a lust at first sight.
Yeah.
And it just comes across as really, like I said, forced. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I kind of would just say for the future is, if you're gonna establish that sort of thing, Cuffs is hilarious.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, he's great.
But the book itself is pretty damn funny at the beginning, because this is like this team, Jawbreakers, like they are, I shit you not, the textbook definition of a ragtag team, and that's the fun of the book, is that they are goofy as hell.
I mean, the whole thing even has humor in it. You'll know what I'm talking about, and that, kids, is why pencils have erasers.
Yes.
It's fucking funny. But I mean, yeah, the humor is there. It's the plot, at least for me, and this is something that is shared across all three books that are in here, mm-hmm. can be kind of hard to follow at times. I mean, even and this is how I read it. The whole turn off your brain and just zone out for a bit. Even then, it still can be a little bit hard to follow. But at the same time, it's like, I was able to eat popcorn while reading this.
Yeah. And that's what it is, and I'm just sort of turning back through the pages right now, is it is a popcorn book. I compare it to The Expendables for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
The Expendables is like one of the best popcorn action flicks of the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a great action movie. But it's as shallow as a puddle.
By the way, ya boy.
Yes. Silkworm actually does yell that.
He's actually in it. Ya boy.
Yes.
Oh, I know that image is kind of small there, but
yeah.
Oh. But yeah, no, it's still a fun read. I mean, yeah, it leaves some things to be desired, but let's be real. This is not a professional fucking outing. This is not someone with, years and years of writing credits.
Yeah.
But for, like, really a first project, and I would consider this a first project as opposed to Iron Sights, mm-hmm. even though Iron Sights is credited on here too as the first. It's good. It's good. It's, of course, got room for improvement, but then again, what doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of where it really starts to get a bit more cohesive is probably about, I would say probably the halfway point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it really is a book that starts with a bang. It starts with, right
literal bang.
Yeah, literally, like, right out of the gate, they have impaled a monster on top of the Eiffel Tower. I kid you not.
Like a half Godzilla creature, almost.
Yeah. And from there, they're fleeing Paris and take refuge inside of an ice cream truck. That whole sequence takes two and a half to 3 pages. And then next thing you know, they're in Africa. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen pacing like this in a comic in a while. Because you're used to, like, if this were Brian Michael Bendis, this would have taken 10 pages. Mm-hmm. And very little dialogue in both. But the good thing about John as an artist, and the good thing about Richard as a writer, is they're both old school enough to know how to tell a story within, 5 page or 4 panels on one book, as opposed to, a bunch of splashes here and there. And that's one thing that's actually interesting about this book, is there's not a lot of splash pages. You know, even though John, as an artist, could definitely show off his talent as much as he'd like with a bunch of splash pages, there's not a lot of pages on here that have 4 or less panels on them.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
there's like 2 in a row, like one of them that takes up two whole fucking pages.
Yeah.
And then like what comes after is another splash page.
Mm-hmm.
But
and that's one thing I really like about it, is that it is able to get a lot of story in such a short short area. But that's again, that's something that's kind of lacking these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to kind of summarize, the big criticism is that the romance plot between Cuffs and Zaji is kind of forced.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of my big criticism. It can, if you're used to reading more modern comics, it's gonna be a little too fast paced for you, and you're gonna want to go back through it again just to make sure you caught everything. Yeah. But on the flip side, that second criticism isn't that much of a criticism. Mm-hmm. You know, but one thing I would say is that if you're looking for a character-driven story, this is not it. This is a fun, high-octane team book.
Yeah. Again, this is the kind of book that you read with your fucking chips and your chocolate milk.
Yeah. It is basically a modern take on G.I. Joe in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But instead of it being, U.S. military, it's, mercenaries.
Yeah.
But the art's good. The color work is great.
Oh, yeah.
Brett is a ridiculously talented colorist. Yeah, I don't know how if they're going to start putting this into stores after this, or if Richard's ever going to start a store of his own or what have you through Splotto, but I hope he does, and I hope more people are going to be able to access this comic, because it is fun, and at the end of the day, that's what matters most.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to write not everyone is me and wants to write the complex characters and stuff like that,
Same too.
Servant of God just donated another $2. Says here, the 3 gates of geekdom have been getting bigger each time. First, GG did nothing. Second, CG is making stuff. The third, AG has manifested lawsuits. Third time's the charm.
Oh.
I do not want there to be an anime gate.
Yeah, please. I really don't want it to be called anime gate either. If only because that's the quickest way that people dismiss it. Oh, it's another geek gate, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just please.
Yeah.
Different name.
But yeah, let's get back to just the basic thing is that, again, we definitely recommend the book if there's a way to get it. Hopefully, whenever I clip this video and put it on my main channel, that our boy will come into the comments and tell us exactly how to get our hands on it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, needless to say, I'm very happy that I backed it. I'm looking forward to seeing what more he's going to do in the future. So.
Yep. So let us know, our boy Zach, when the next one is, because god damn it, I want to see where you go next.
Mm-hmm. Same here. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the first topic of the day. So we alluded to this in the politics podcast, but we talked a little bit about the media narrative in regards to Jussie Smollett, and now we kind of need to talk about the man himself. So the basics of what happened, just to recap, is that he faked a hate crime. The initial reporting of the case was that he was assaulted in under a bridge or tunnel area in downtown Chicago. I actually know the neighborhood, and it was an attempted lynching, and they tried to pour bleach on him, and it was done by 2 white guys in MAGA hats yelling, "This is MAGA country." Mm-hmm. Now keep in mind, this is Chicago. People in Chicago, even if you are Republicans, would be caught dead in a MAGA hat, because somebody would probably shoot you. It is about as anti-Trump as you're going to get. The mayor, the rather corrupt Rahm Emanuel, declared Chicago a Trump-free zone. So it's not really a thought that this is some place that, there's a lot of outspoken Republicans. you know? So...
Yeah, not to mention the absurdity of two teens, I believe they were listed as teens, white teenagers in MAGA hats, walking around in freezing temperatures. Were they sub-zero at the time?
Yes, they were.
Sub-zero temperatures, carrying around bleach and a noose, looking for someone to I mean...
Who watch Empire, apparently.
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, this is one train of people standing up and clapping short of shit that never happened.
Yeah, exactly. And the name was Albert Einstein.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no wonder. And we said it too, that this is fishy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, were we right?
Oh, we was right.
We was right. And now...
Seems to be a trend on this show.
We were right. We just need a button with a phone ringing. So we could say, pick up that phone because we called it.
Yeah. But anyway, and on top of that, the two Nigerian guys he hired to do this, he paid them with a check. For those who don't know, a check is one of the most easily traceable ways to send money to people. Because you actually have to fucking sign it. Yeah. Out of alcohol.
Sorry.
But I'm just astonished by it. It really is beyond parody. And what's funny about all of this, and we talked about this on the political side of things, but now we need to talk entertainment. I still remember, I'm old enough to remember, when Ellen Page went on some show, it was some late night show, and basically said...
Colbert.
Yeah, Colbert. And basically laid this at the feet of Mike fucking Pence.
Yeah. Of all people, Mike Pence.
But this is a general issue that we're seeing in our society. Is that, in politics we talked about a lot of people basically wanting Orange Man bad to be a thing.
Mm-hmm. And
now we have that in entertainment as well. There's a lot of people in entertainment who want Orange Man bad to be a thing. And we see it all over the place. And in fact, the next topic we talk about will be partially tied into that. But on this case, it is specifically Donald Trump. But the thing about Ellen Page and what she said is it is emblematic of entertainment in general these days.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks really, really, really want it to be this bad so that they can justify all of these artistic projects that they're taking up and ones that are making $0, mind you, to be worth something in the end.
Yeah. I mean, what does it say about Marvel if they're all their fucking A-lister books are about the evils of fascism or right-wing mobs and whatnot, and none of that shit's actually happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They need it in order to justify the narratives that they've made up in their fucking heads.
Yeah.
God help them. They will make shit happen if it's not happening organically.
Oh, absolutely. And it's one of these things where they want so desperately for it to happen to basically justify their own worldview, as opposed to their worldview being shaped by the things that are going on actually going on around them. And the thing about artists, and I think we've said this before, is that artists are weird people, myself included. We're weird as fuck, but these folks have the opportunity to be sensible, and they don't take it. Like someone like a Mark Wade, or a Bill Sienkiewicz, who thinks that millions will die. You know, or somebody like that. You know,
Yeah.
they are unwilling to accept the idea that the world is not bad, or at least the United States is not. Is it perfect? Of course not. And I don't know anybody that's saying that it is. But this is not a bad place to be. The very idea that Jussie Smollett, a black gay man, could be on a show that is a hit like Empire, and to do as well as he was doing, he can't do that anywhere else in the fucking world.
Mm-mm.
At all. He wouldn't make nearly as much money if he tried it in Europe. If he was in India, they would use him like a token. Same thing with Japan. Like look what they did with Bob Sapp.
Mm-hmm. And he'd get thrown off a building in the Middle East.
Exactly. You know, where in the world could he do it? You know, and not to mention if he was in Australia, he'd get taxed to oblivion. So he wouldn't make nearly as much money. So as it stands, there is no fucking way that what he wants and what everyone wanted to be true here would be true. And what's worse is the alternative is a good thing, and they don't want to fucking embrace it. That's disturbing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all want a better world. I think that that's a unifying principle. But the idea that the world is so bad that we're all in the worst of times, I'm sorry, but no. If you think that, you're a loon. There's something wrong up here. That it's something's not working properly.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
All right, I have nothing else to add on this one, Hatman. What about you?
About the only thing I can add is his career is fucking over at this point.
Oh yeah, he's already been cut from Empire.
Yeah, he hasn't been officially cut. They're writing him out of the last 2 episodes of the season, but the word hasn't dropped that he's been officially fired yet.
But it's probably inevitable.
Yes, it probably is. I think it's fucking crazy that, and the excuse that he used was he was upset about the salary.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're gonna cry wolf for a few dollars more.
No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a fucking second. I don't buy it. So
I genuinely think that he, was doing this to gain more fame. Because if what he had done was actually true and he got away with it, he would be a hero. He'd be a hero to the left, and he would be a walking example that the narrative is true. Mm-hmm. The narrative is not true. And he's honestly a pretty bad criminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
As the old adage goes, it's fake and gay.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. Speaking of failing narratives. So this one is sort of a twofer. We talked about this before the podcast, is failing narratives. And there are certain narratives that just don't work. And I think that, I'll sum it all up here in a minute. Hatman, kind of give us the skinny on what's going on with the narratives behind Captain Marvel and Ghostbusters.
So, Captain Marvel recently had a $60 million loss in projections. Now, keep in mind, a projection is just an estimate of how the movie is going to do on opening weekend. $60 million loss on that. It was tracking in at something like 200 million or like 180 million. Now it sounded like 120. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, and the narrative has suddenly turned to trolls, misogynist trolls, are review bombing the movie.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that no reviews are available yet. And the only thing that people can really affect is
whether or not they're interested.
Yeah, the people want to see it on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, I think, now down to 51%.
Mm-hmm.
So, holy shit. But just bombing it in general, like, who gives a shit? But it's setting up a narrative in case this movie fails or is divisive.
Yep.
And I've been predicting, and I've said this in the last few podcasts, that this is going to be another Last Jedi situation. Critically acclaimed, heavily divides fans. And if the supposed leaks are true, it's going to be divisive for
longtime fans of the franchise.
Yeah, especially a certain character.
Myself included. And we'll go ahead and just say what the rumor is. Now, mind you, this is just a rumor. The rumor is that there is no Marvel in this. Or rather, the actual Marvel. They have gender swapped Marvel. And it's a very, very small cameo.
Yeah. It's not Walter Lawson, it's Wendy Lawson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jude Law's character is actually not Marvel, but an old Captain Marvel, an old Marvel villain instead.
Mm-hmm.
And there's part of that rumor was that there's a lot of focus on the fact that she is a woman.
Yeah.
Which, if it is that heavy-handed, Marvel fans will not like it. Because Marvel films are generally not heavy-handed. Mm-hmm. Even the more political ones, i.e. the Captain America films, were not heavy-handed.
No, not at all.
Like, you could say that Winter Soldier is probably the most libertarian film you'll watch in a long time. Not super heavy-handed, aside from the discussion between Cap and Nick Fury, which was a really intriguing meeting of philosophies. And, obviously Chris Evans and Sam Jackson, both great actors, pulled it off very well. Mm-hmm. But needless to say, not really that divisive. This is just the rumors make this movie sound not good.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's honestly, and it's strange too how the marketing and the promotion has kind of turned into this, pro women sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like send female reviewers to see this movie. Do they think it'll perform better in that regard? I mean, we didn't see this with Black Panther, and that movie was pretty much just politicized on its own.
Yeah, more so by the press than the people putting it together.
Yeah, Marvel did not have a fucking hand in this.
Yes.
And even then, like, it didn't get this level of fucking criticism because it wasn't pushed. It was not pushed. You didn't have anybody complaining about the fact that this was like a black cultural milestone.
Yeah.
No one gave a fuck. But then again, the movie was able to stand on its own merits too.
Mm-hmm.
With this preemptive defense of Captain Marvel, makes me think, because it goes back to Ghostbusters, which we will talk about, that they know the movie is not good or is not up to the normal MCU standards, and the defense that's going to work best is blame the misogynists.
Yes.
Blame the internet trolls.
Now, here's the reason that this is mostly failing to people right now. 3 words. Alita, Battle Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Highly regarded. And there were critics that were on Twitter that were saying, oh, you can't stand a female lead. I'm like, why do these people love Alita then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's very simple. Alita, kick-ass, female lead, fun movie, very well liked by anyone who's seen it. But it's not focusing on the fact that the lead is a female.
And there's no politics in it either.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like kick-ass female heroines are uncommon. There's quite a few films that do that. I've certainly got no problem with them. Video games do them all the time too. You know, I just played the shit out of Resident Evil 2. Claire Redfield is my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters in the series. You know, Samus Aran. You know, there's a lot of good examples. Lara Croft, so on and so forth.
Chat keeps bringing up Wonder Woman too, as another movie.
You know, like, people loved Wonder Woman too. Yeah. Like, people love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She is probably, like, I honestly consider her to Wonder Woman like Chris Evans is to Captain America.
Yeah.
Like, even in the movies that in the DCEU that I fucking hate, like Batman v Superman or Justice League, I love Gal Gadot in them.
Yeah. I've come around on her too. And if you watch the very early episodes of Micah and the Hatman, you will hear me say, I don't think she's a very good fit.
Yeah.
I came around on her after Wonder Woman, man. I really did.
Not to mention in the DCEU, she has the best theme.
Yeah. Hell yes.
It fits her to a T.
Hell yes.
But that's the thing, is that this narrative falls apart. But but what it really is people trying to force intersectionality down people's throats. And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And
nobody likes it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're basically denigrating audiences. I mean, like what's happening right now with Ghostbusters. Shit. New director, Ivan Reitman's son.
Yeah.
I don't remember his first name. Chat, you'll correct me. But anyway, he said that he's basically making Ghostbusters 3 as a way to give the franchise back to the fans.
Yeah, which is a good thing, because they're your lifeblood.
Yeah, but people lost their shit over it because it's like, you mean all the misogynistic man-children who hated the reboot? So what? You're saying that you weren't fans of Ghostbusters after all, huh? I guess it really was a hijacking, wasn't it? Jason Reitman, yes. But it's a narrative to basically protect the idea that we need this. We know what's good for you. We know what is best, not the audience. But you are still selling a product at the end of the day. If the audience does not eat it, if they do not enjoy it, they're going to spit it the fuck out. And they will tell you, and they will tell all their friends. They will say, this is bullshit. Do not consume it. They did for Ghostbusters in 2016. That movie bombed.
Oh, yeah.
That movie fucking shat the bed hard. And that was supposed to be the franchise starter. It bombed so hard that Ghostbusters 3 had to be made basically as an apology so that they can continue the fucking franchise.
Oh, yeah.
What happens if Captain Marvel shits the bed? If Marvel really has a failure on their hands?
I think that they've got a backup plan for that. I think that it's called Spider-Man Far From Home.
Well,
they're ready to plug Tom Holland as the face of that franchise.
Endgame 2.
Well, remember, of course, but a lot of people consider Endgame to be the end of an era.
Yeah, it does.
And what Kevin Feige has tried to set up is Brie Larson and Captain Marvel as the new era.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is that, again, if you put it on Brie Larson, who is largely untested as a box office draw, and put this character in there that is one of the least popular Marvel heroes in the modern day, cannot sell a fucking comic for her life.
How many times has she pretty much been rebooted in the past decade?
She has had, well, not a lot of reboots, but she has had like 4 number ones over the course of 4 years. She cannot keep a series at all.
Close fucking enough.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I mean, like, what happened? Carol Danvers becomes Captain Marvel, and all of a sudden is just so unlikable.
Because ideologues have been writing her, not people who are interested in telling good stories.
If y'all want an idea of how unlikable Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel can be and has been, just look up the synopsis of Civil War 2.
Yeah, they turn her into a Nazi.
Holy shit. Holy shit. If they ever bring that to the fucking big screen, there is no way in hell they would allow her to hold those views.
Oh, absolutely.
they'd flip it around. She would basically be the Iron Man in that
Oh,
situation.
oh yeah, definitely. But this is generally the issue, is that the next generation of stars that they want to have in the MCU, because Chris Evans wants a break, you know, and a lot of the main guys. Well, no, Chris Hemsworth does not. What's his face? Who's playing the Hulk right now? Has said he wants to do a solo Hulk film. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah.
but you know, the two big ones, which are Captain America and Iron Man, those actors want a break, you know, and they've earned it, I think, you know, but you know, if you're thinking that it's going to be carried by Brie Larson, you know, I don't think that they're that stupid, you know, I don't think so. I think that Kevin Feige has, you know, the reason that they're working on another Doctor Strange film and they're going to have, and that they advertise Spider-Man Far From Home so early, is because they are preparing for this movie to fuck up. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So, this one was kind of disturbing. We're only going to talk about it for a few minutes. Some people might not know the name of Edwin Boyett. If you're in Comicsgate circles, you will. Edwin is a super nice guy, to say the least. He is, you'll often see him appear on Ethan Van Sciver's streams, on Mike S. Miller's streams, and he also pretty regularly hosts Drawn and Quartered for Mike. For those who don't know what Drawn and Quartered is, Mike gets other artists together and does like a little competition where they draw or redesign a certain character, and so on and so forth. And it's really cool, you know. And Edwin is, again, one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. Ridiculously calm, so on and so forth. He was swatted today.
Second one.
In the course of 2 weeks.
Again, important to note, this could very well be a third-party troll group that is just trying to stoke the flames.
Yes, because people did that with Gamergate too.
Yes.
You had the Baphomet folks.
Yes.
So it could be that, and that would render everything I'm about to say null and void.
Exactly.
Same boilerplate disclaimer I said last time. But what we saw, or at least saw on Twitter, is that the popular SJW accounts were painting Edwin as a creeper, painting him as a Nazi, so on and so forth, and then this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it is incredibly jacked up, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully no one was hurt. Edwin, of course, very cordial person, said that the police were very cordial themselves. I mean, it is Hawaii, so it's going to be pretty relaxed. But
naturally,
nobody got hurt. But at the same time, I think, like, I still remember back in 2015 where somebody died because of a swatting, and that a police officer has been hurt before in this.
Mm-hmm.
We know people who have been swatted. It's a scary situation.
Yeah.
Because trust me, the last thing you want is an automatic weapon pointed at you.
Yeah. I mean, it is basically a form of terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
You are trying to intimidate someone to the point where they fear for their safety in order to get them to do something. Usually for political purposes. In this case, if it is genuinely someone from an anti-Comicsgate perspective, then
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's absolutely politically motivated. So that ticks all the boxes for active terrorism.
Yep.
I mean, what does it say when you send a SWAT team after somebody? I mean, what are you hoping for?
It is intimidation.
Yeah,
and let's really put this in perspective. This is over comic books.
Yeah.
Comic books.
Yeah.
And this is the problem when you fucking politicize everything. Like we say over and over again, our politics suck.
Yeah.
And this is why. It makes everything a lot more serious than it should be. Everything suddenly is about the end of the world.
Yeah.
And no, it should not be.
No.
But these folks want to control the narrative and want to control everything so much that they are willing to just intimidate people and use the police as a cudgel against them.
Mm-hmm.
It is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I'm glad that Edwin's okay.
yes, of course, absolutely. That's the most important.
But I'm with Ethan. And it feels like people are trying to hurt people who just want better comic books.
Yeah.
Fucking really?
Yeah. It's absolute fucking bullshit. And I've said this before, I will say it again. Block the fucking troll accounts.
Yeah, let's not give them any more attention.
Do not. Block them, mute them, send them to the cornfield. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
All right, let's move on to the Q&A.
Yeah, let's get into something a little lighter.
Absolutely. So, we had quite a few questions on Twitter, but we're gonna go ahead and get with the let's see what we got here.
Discord.
In Discord, Talon Silverbane asks, "How long do we think this woke push will be in entertainment?" He's asked this one before. I don't think that I think that it is on its last legs, but oftentimes it is darkest before the dawn, and they are pushing back very hard right now, but it will eventually peter out.
Yeah.
It's just like we're seeing with what like Jussie Smollett is that people have to pay the dividends. You know, we're going to have that, and I'm curious to see how the Vic Mignogna lawsuits play out. I'm also interested to see how the Covington lawsuits pan out as well. You know, yeah. I think that there's going to be some success in civil court. Absolutely. There's going to be some settlements, but it's going to take a big chunk out of people. I think that with Vic, though, the people he's going after don't have the money for lawyers, or not good ones. And he's got people willing to fund what he's doing. So, I think we might be looking at, with Vic Mignogna, maybe a Hulk Hogan Gawker situation. But instead of being funded by Peter Thiel, it'll be funded by fans who want to see him destroy the people who are trying to destroy him. But it's weird that it's become this mutually assured destruction. But at the end of the day, you know, the good guys will win and the bad guys will lose. And we're not the bad guys. All right. On the Twitter, our Dank Horse Elric asked, "What are our thoughts on Adpocalypse 3? And also, can we declare Exterminatus on One Angry Gamer for the boner culture fiasco?" I have no idea what the hell that is. But as for Adpocalypse 3, I think it's fucking deplorable. I think that penalizing people for other people's actions is ridiculous. It's like banning cars to try to get drunk drivers off the road. You know, they're basically trying to destroy people for trying to make a living. And why do I have a feeling that the Young Turks will never see a single video demonetized?
Of course not. Of course not.
It is fucking ridiculous.
YouTube needs to get its fucking shit together. And honestly, I think one of the better moves that this channel has made, at least, is going just fully fan funded. Like,
yeah,
telling YouTube to fuck off completely and just letting you guys,
because I fully expect my main channel to get demonetized at some point. I'm bracing for it.
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube just does not know how to fucking handle things. And the sooner we get a true alternative, the better.
Yeah.
You know, be it Twitch or fucking BitChute or whatever. We need a real alternative to this, because unless we have an alternative, it doesn't motivate them to do any better.
No.
They're not being pushed at all.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Viatov Raman, If you check out my main channel, I've made a couple of videos on the Vic Mignogna situation.
Yes, we've talked. Well, we've talked about it here a couple times, and you've talked about it on your channel too. Anyway, from the emails, Weeb friend Chris once again. What do we think Pokemon would look like if it was created by NetherRealm?
It would be fucking glorious.
It'd be fucking crazy. I'm thinking like a more badass version of Detective Pikachu. Because honestly, like that's the closest that we will probably ever get to any sort of like realistic Pokemon designs. But NetherRealm would like take it to the next fucking level.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. That would be crazy.
I just imagine Blastoise like hitting somebody with Hydro Pump and leaving a giant chest, a gaping hole in their chest from the water pressure. It'd be sick.
Oh my god.
I'd be all over it.
Shit. Pokemon Mortal Kombat. I want it.
I kind of do too. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh my god. Well, is everyone saying nope for they don't
for that? Yeah.
They don't want it. Oh man. Okay. Let's actually get to the chat now.
Okay.
Tom the Fish asks, do we think Battle Angel Alita will make money? The box office seems like it might not break even at the moment.
We gotta wait for the international market to come in because I have a feeling it's gonna be bigger overseas than it is here.
China is huge for it right now.
Yeah.
It's done really well opening in China, and I don't know if it's open in Japan yet, but Japan is also expected to give it a lot of money as well.
Yeah, because you got to keep in mind, Gundam is huge over there.
Oh yeah,
it's a legendary manga.
Yeah, but as far as like $100 million domestic gross, that's a pipe dream at this point. There's no way that it's gonna fucking happen.
Oh, absolutely not. But from what the creators of the film have said is that if it even just breaks even, they're doing another one.
Yeah,
which I'm all for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally on board for that.
I just personally, if you're gonna do the Motorball arc, you need to make that shit rated R. You need to go like all in.
Fuck it.
Yeah, like just go for it. That like, it is a great manga though. For those of you who have not read Gundam, I did a video on my main channel called "Things I Love: Battle Angel Alita." Watch it, and then you'll get my recommendations on it for sure, and where you should start reading on it. Darth Bobcat just donated $2 real quick. He says here, congrats on 18K subscribers. Thank you. I actually hit that last week, and I want to thank you guys. We hit almost, I think it was like, let me look at the numbers. It was pretty close to like 50,000 views last week on videos. So, but the one that really got me and kind of hit me right here the most was that the Project Lazarus video I did almost hit 1,000 views. And that's not much given my channel, but that to me is a big focus of my future, is comic books and making graphic novels and comics and things like that. I want that in Inglewood, the first issue ones to be a success. And then I want to do, I want to be in a few, like 2-3 years from now, writing comics every single month and having monthly issues dropped off at your doorstep every fucking month, or in Comixology, or things along those lines. And I want Bob Stone to still be doing the art with me. I want Brian to still be doing the art with me. And I want to do graphic novels at least one a year with people. Just constantly doing that instead of what I'm doing now for a living. Because as much as I like what I do for a living, I would rather love what I'm doing and make $50,000 a year, and that, as opposed to like what I'm doing and make $100,000, if that makes any sense. So,
anyway, I looked at the numbers for Battle Angel Alita. So far, worldwide gross is $155 million.
Really?
On a $170 million production budget, but with advertising estimates and stuff, that'd be about $200 million. So it'll probably at least break even.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, Daniel Garza asks, what do we think about the Funimation removing the ability to cancel subscriptions after people started leaving them in droves due to the Vic situation?
Oh, shit.
Totally predictable, in my opinion. I had a feeling they would do it.
Holy Ninja Toe had a Discord question? Where?
Hold on. Let me check the other subreddits, or subs.
Because the only one is politics.
Yeah, I don't. We answered the one on the SBC's reforms. We don't know much about them. That's the only one I saw in there.
Yeah. Just shoot it to us here, and we'll scroll up in Vidya.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Thoughts on the Chinese getting offended over Winnie the Pooh in the game Devotion?
Oh God. Of course they did.
Fuck
communism.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
All right.
Wait, is this like an actual Chinese user thing, or is it just the government doing it? Because I know the government has been trying to censor all the Winnie the Pooh shit because Xi Jinping apparently is Winnie the Pooh.
All right.
Like,
we're getting behind. Okay.
Hey.
So, what are your thoughts on the Invincible comic book series? It's one of my favorites of all time. I love Invincible. Invincible was the book that, when I finished it, ultimately inspired me to start writing Project Lazarus. Not that there's a lot of similarities between the two, but it definitely inspired me to do it. Because I wanted to write a cape comic that had dark moments. And that's basically, as Hatman can attest, is what Project Lazarus is in a nutshell.
That's a Kirkman comic.
Yeah, it's Kirkman. I like it a lot better than The Walking Dead, personally.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Here's one that I kind of like. Thoughts on the Kick Vic wanting a truce?
That was the next one I wanted to answer. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Fuck them too.
Fuck them.
You do not get to sit there and destroy a man's life and there be no fucking repercussions. Fuck every single one of you. You know what? No. Fuck 'em's enough.
They tried again though.
We got missiles raring to go. All right. Thoughts on EA removing a negative YouTube review of Anthem?
So
holy fuck.
Apparently that was a case of the guy didn't read all the disclosure shit, and basically he had watermarks that he wasn't supposed to have, or he was supposed to have what, I don't know, but he fucked up on his end.
He did, but at the same time it was a very negative review. And I have a feeling that if it was a positive review, they would have overlooked it.
Yeah, I am with you on that one. The fact that this was basically a paid review too.
Mm-hmm.
Paid reviews naturally should not fucking happen.
If you're gonna get a free copy, that's one thing.
Yes,
but you're not entitled to it.
Things, but no, you.
But the simple fact that they fucking paid him to review this game, and he still gave it a negative review. Holy shit!
The balls.
Yeah, this dude gave no fucks.
Nope. Nope. Koopa's Revenge Home asks if we heard the rumor about Xbox Game Pass coming to Switch. What?
That would be interesting, but I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either. That'd be...
I do need to get Game Pass at some point, though, and we need to get a group of 4 people to play Sea of Thieves. I've been wanting to play that for a while.
Yeah.
Because pirates.
You're gonna need a lot of rum, though. That's the only thing.
I have rum.
You still have rum? I thought you ran out.
No, the rum is not gone.
All right.
So hopefully, maybe Hatman's internet will hold steady in the future. Not that I have much room to talk, apparently. Christ. Yeah. I would really like to have a community game night though at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, well, actually, no. We could probably get 4 people to play Sea of Thieves.
Probably
you and me, and then I know Thesk has it, and then I know Darth Bobcat has an Xbox, and I know Brain I think has Game Pass maybe, or else I'll just get it for him because I seem to just pay him in video games. Yeah. But yeah, we'll do that at some point for game night. And I am considering, and I kind of want feedback from people on this, is that I want to do more game night streams, but I genuinely worry about them dominating this channel's content. Mm-hmm. So if you folks would like me to move that to Twitch instead and bring that channel back up, I will do so. I'm definitely not against it. So, because those are mostly for fun anyway. And for the memes, as the Injustice stream showed. I shit you not. It had to be this way, fit that final battle between Batman and Superman so well it was ridiculous. I loved it. It was awesome.
I will never forget the fucking Katawa Shoujo one.
Oh, fuck you.
The one word heard around the world. Anal.
It is apparently the game where we learned that I have a thing for women who look like they were born on a minefield.
Oh my god. Oh wow. Holy shit.
Alright. Alistair Fulgore asks, thoughts on the Metro games? I could never really get into them personally.
I haven't played any yet, so...
Ivy, this is a Christian stream. Oh, God.
Hardworld Entertainment. So let's say you're Andrew Ryan. How would you guys run Rapture?
We wouldn't become authoritarian psychos and betray our beliefs like Andrew Ryan does, or ban religion, which is very anti-Lockean of him, to say the least.
Who was it? Shit, I'm trying to find it in the chat. Derek Mozzarella. I default to this answer. The combat communist dolts. We should say the real Rapture hasn't been tried yet.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh, let's close on this one. Matchstick says, "Can we make a list of favorite to least favorite Green Lanterns?" Okay, so least favorite Green Lantern. Of all the core, every single one of them, my least favorite will always be Sodom Yacht. He was created to be a fucking plot device. I never liked him. But of the big 4, which are, well, now it's 6 because it's, you've got Simon Baz and Mistriggered, which I don't like either of them either. But of the big 4, the ones that I really care about, my least favorite is probably Guy Gardner, even though Guy is, and these are marginal for me. It goes for me from 4 to 1. Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan. Hal will always be my dude. And then John right behind him. I love the dynamic between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart is always going to be my favorite. As far as just ones that I don't really like, I'll go a little retro. I'll say Alan Scott, especially like after the reboot and kind of forced. He's gay now. Like,
that made no sense.
Yeah, no, it just. Well, way to take what character he did have and just chuck it.
Yep. You do know that EVS made Jessica Cruz. I know. It's a joke. I couldn't get into her personally. Ethan. Sorry. You're more than welcome to critique anything I create in the future and tell me you hate it. I won't hold it against you. I'll even buy you a pie again. So
everybody gets one.
Yes. But Hatman, of the big four, go from 4 to 1. Obviously, Jon Stewart's number 1.
Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner would probably be my number 4. I don't know.
So of the two, which one do you like more, Hal or Kyle?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I might just go Kyle Rayner before Hal Jordan.
Really?
To be honest with you.
In dislike or like?
In like.
Okay. See, I think that oddly,
I think I have to. Yeah.
I think my only problem with Kyle was that he kind of did wear out his welcome in a lot of ways. Whereas, but then again, I always felt like, whatchamacallit, that Rebirth was very well timed when it came to that franchise. It was time to bring the core back when Ethan and Jeff did it. So, all right, we have hit our hour mark. We've actually gone a little bit past it. So, if you have a question for the overflow, do not hesitate to go ahead and put that sucker into the comments right now. We will be doing another overflood. Reason being, Hatman had some personal stuff he had to deal with this week, so sadly we weren't able to do it. But we will be able to do it, this coming week, and we'll do a big extra long episode for you guys. Probably sometime in the middle of the week, because I am working a shit ton of overtime this week too. So, because I like money. What can I say? So, Hatman, any final words?
Yeah. Hug your pets. If you don't have a pet, hug someone else's pet.
Yes.
Because my girlfriend had to put her dog down this week.
Yeah.
And 3 years old. A very rare genetic disease that he was suffering from. But anyway, hug your pets. Pet someone else's pet if you don't have a pet of your own. Absolutely.
All right, guys. We love all of you. And before we take off, thanks again to Darth Bobcat and Servant of God for donating money. We appreciate it, for sure. So, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you enjoy them. The audience continues to grow little bit by little bit. But we appreciate you. But until next time, my name is Micah Curtis.
I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
See you guys next week. Dave's Vault.